Hey you guys, what's happening? We're here to talk about MLS Fantasy for round number 6. This is our second double game week, and I'm pumped for it. I'm not sure I'm ready for it, but I'm excited. There's going to be a lot of points. 6 teams play twice this week. So make sure that that's what you're focusing on this weekend. It worked well for those who did it last double game week. So make sure you jump on that. Jump all over it. There's lots of good teams, lots of good players. So let's dive in. First off, we are going to talk about the teams that are playing twice. Let's go down the list. And we got Colorado Rapids, we got FC Dallas, we've got the New York Red Bulls, we've got Portland Timbers, we've got San Jose Earthquakes, and we've got Sporting Kansas City, who I think a lot of people are loving right now. Even on teams like Colorado and New York, who aren't really doing so great right now, there are still points to be had in double game weeks. And just a quick philosophy, I was talking about it with a friend today at work. So, double game weeks. Sometimes you have to figure out, is it worth it to make an extra trade or even 2 extra trades to take a -4 or a -8? Well, this year, I feel like in general, on average, now I haven't done any statistical research on this or anything like that, but it seems like players are generally getting more points than they did last year. And I don't know if the guys at MLS Fantasy really thought about this, but taking a -4 isn't quite as big of a deal. I mean, if you think about it, let's say you make 1 extra trade, you get -4, and you pick up somebody that plays twice. Well, right off the bat, they have 4 points. You're even. Now, unless they do something stupid and get cards or get scored on a lot if they're a defender, you're at least breaking even. But then there's 180 minutes for them to gain bonus points, get assists, get goals. So it can really be worth it to make a ton of extra trades if you pick up the right guys. That's the key. You can't pick up a guy that just gets 4 points. That's not really worth it. But if you can pick up a guy that, gets 4 bonus points in each game, that's a free extra 8 points that you might not have gotten otherwise. So just some things to think about. If you want to take extra trades instead of using a wild card or something like that, I think it's worth it. I think it could really work out well for a lot of people, especially this weekend. I'm excited. We'll go over some injuries real quick. There are some notable ones. And I'm going to focus mainly on double gamers. A couple big names out there that from Sporting Kansas City. They've had a solid defense this year. Obviously, Malia is doing well. But both Ellis and Chance Myers are at least out for this Wednesday game. Now, Ellis seems like he's going to be out for a while. It's a groin injury that's a little more serious now. His starting role probably wasn't going to stay where it was anyway, because now Ike Opara got a chance to play, did really good. And Beasler finally cleared his concussion protocol, so he'll be back on the field, I'm sure, at least for one of the games. I don't know if they're going to be rotating at all this week, but Chance Myers is missing the first game. He might be back the second. I'm not sure how serious his injury is. My guess is he's listed as out already, only because they're going to rest him up. There's no reason to put him in. So who's going to play for him? Not 100% sure. I think Abdul Salam came in for him and actually got an assist in the short amount of time he was playing, right? He's only played a little over 40 minutes, and yes, he did get an assist. He played 40 minutes last week. So pretty good. Pretty good. Is he worth picking up? I don't know. I'd be pretty hesitant. He is $6 million. Now, Chance Myers is 6.4, so you're not losing a lot if you already had Chance Myers. But if you're just trying to pick up somebody cheap on the defensive side, Diaz seems to be the stronger point. He's $6 million, and he's played every game. But I am throwing out cautions like crazy because it is a double game week. For teams, it's a short week. It's a Wednesday, I think, Sunday turnaround for Sporting Kansas. Let me double check myself on that. Yes. So just be cautious. Double game weeks can piss people off more than anything else because you pick up a guy that you're expecting to play twice and he only plays once, and it's sucky. Big caution with Colorado. Their coach loves to mess with people. I'm sure he does it specifically for fantasy football, fantasy soccer, football, real football. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's just no telling what's going to happen with these teams. You can do the best you think. Now, last time we had double game weeks, it wasn't a big deal because it was over the span of a whole week. Now we're doing Wednesday to Saturday or Wednesday to Sunday. So just throwing that out there, be cautious with who you pick up. Jumping back to injuries, see if there's any more notable ones. Akam from Chicago still out. Mauro Diaz, the most frustrating. It's still listed as an undisclosed injury. What does that mean? A lot of people had hoped that he was going to play last week or at least be on the bench, but he wasn't. So the question you have to decide is, are you going to hang on to him or are you not? Don't lose sleep over it. He's a good player, and even if he gets a chance to play one game, still might be worth it to have him. But here's the thing. If you don't want to play it safe, or if you do want to play it safe and you have the transfers to do it, you have Valeri out there, you have Kleshin out there. There's a lot of guys that are playing twice this week that are close to the same price as him and do fantastically in the attacking end of the field. So don't feel bad about getting rid of him. I know he plays more double game weeks later, but you know what? It could be better safe than sorry just to not have him on your team. He could play both games. He could play none. We just don't know. And if you want to be safe, just get rid of him. It's not a big deal. Just do it. Do it. Robbie Keane's still out for LA. Other than that, I think teams are looking pretty strong, pretty good. Sporting Kansas City seems to have the most. Obviously, Pedro Morales is still out, but most of you probably got rid of him last week, so no big deal there. So yeah, those are your injuries. Who knows what's going to happen from now until Wednesday or Saturday if they're guys that don't play twice. But there's a lot of points to be had out here. There's a lot of strong forwards, a lot of strong defenders potentially. Well, we've listed a few from Sporting Kansas, but Malia is a definite lock-in at goalie, probably your best option for this week and weeks beyond, not just this week. Colho has been strong. Diaz has been strong. As far as their other backs, I think you might want to just avoid them. Don't know exactly if Beasler is going to play both games. Don't know if Opara is going to play both games. Don't know if Sinovic might get his first minutes of the season. I don't know what's up with that. He was one of my favorite players in the last couple of seasons, and he's just not even been on the field yet. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but he might get his first crack at seeing the field. So midfield-wise, Zusi, I think, is the strongest. I know a lot of people are jumping on Feilhaber because he's had 2 goals in a row now, which is great. But he's a whole million more than Zusi. Zusi has played every minute of every game so far, and he's getting assists. He's kind of falling into his sneaky attacker role. Brad Davis, I think, is questionable for this week. So I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be doing, but I would say the guys you want are Zusi or Feilhaber. If you want to play risky, I don't know what to tell you. Mustavar is listed as injured currently, so Olam played last week and got 5 points, 4 points. So not great options there. I think you want to stick with the 2 first guys I listed, and then obviously up top, Dwyer is a strong option. He's been playing really well, and he's just gelling more and more with the guys he has. So last week he scored 10 points. Again, he's up close to the goal. He's going to get chances at it. So I don't think you can go wrong with Dwyer. We'll jump over to Colorado, see what they have to offer. Not a ton. McMath has been doing okay, but shutouts haven't been really going Colorado's way. So a lot of people probably already have Hjoberg, I think is how you say it. A lot of people would look at it and say Sjoberg. He's cheap. But again, this is Colorado Rapids we're talking about. Will he start both games? No idea. Will any of these guys start both games? No idea. Birch has been doing a good job getting up the field and getting crosses in. I think he has an assist or 2 so far. So he's not a bad option. Again, these are guys that are going to be cheap and not 100% guaranteed starters. So just be cautious there. Moving into the midfield, I doubt any one of these guys will play a full 180 minutes. This is probably where they will make the most changes. But Papa has been looking very, very good and threatening in their attack. So I personally think he is probably the best attacking option in the midfield you have. Powers is sitting back a little bit more, and I don't think it's where he belongs, but actually it is where he belongs. He's not the attacking guy that they wanted him to be. He can do well. He has the potential to do well, but if you're on a budget, $7.6 million, I think that's pretty good. He's been playing a good amount. Let's just look at his minutes for now. He's played most of each of the games so far. Last week, he only played 78 and got 2 points, but all the other games he played 90 and did pretty decent. So he's not a terrible option, but as far as the other guys go on their midfield, I would stay away. Mostly defensive midfielders, guys that might get a goal, but probably not. Then up top we have Gashi and Solignac. I wouldn't trust Baji. Baji just doesn't get anything done. He looks like he's tired. He looks like he's not motivated to score goals. But Gashi and Solignac, both really good options, I think. I mean, they have not done a ton this year yet. Gashi missed a game because he got suspended, and he hasn't been playing full. Last week was his first full 90. I think the potential for points are there. Colorado is not that bad of a team. It's not the Colorado of old. They haven't been getting a lot of wins yet, but I think there could be some big time points in them this week. Solignac also pretty good player. I like watching him. Points don't really show all the time, but that's just what happens with soccer. So we'll go on to the next team that plays twice. We're going to New York, who I'm already going to tell you don't get their defenders. I think Lawrence and Zubar could possibly be back this week. Ba's still out. They're just still in shambles. Their top defender right now is Oymet, who didn't even play the first game. He's got 12 points over 5 games. That's just not good enough. Robles, Robles, however you want to say his name, is just, it's not his fault that his team's not doing well now. He has the potential to do well, get bonus points, and have a good game, good couple of games. But again, just stay away. If you're putting points and money into New York Red Bulls, you want to go with guys like Kleshin, McCarty, Grella, possibly Sam, or even Felipe. Those guys are usually up front in the attack. And, of course, you have Bradley Wright Phillips up front. He's got 14 points so far, has not scored a goal, which is a bummer. I feel bad for him because he was, on fire last year, potential Golden Boot winner, and it just kind of went away. I don't know what happened. Sometimes you just need to open your account, and then he'll be on fire. So I'm telling you, he could score 5 goals this weekend. We just don't know. So that's New York. Who we got left? We got San Jose and Portland to talk about. So San Jose, I like them a lot. Bingham has been doing okay. He's got 20 points. It's not bad. Bernardes has got 22, but he had that sad own goal last week. It just went right into the back of the net. It looked like enough offense. I felt bad for him, but what are you going to do? Honestly, I think defense is a good place to put your money for San Jose. Honestly, anywhere in the field. Bernardes, Wynn, Francis, all pretty good options. I think, who's been playing for Andres Imperial, we'll go with that, has been playing in place of Goodson. Goodson still has back tightness, already listed as out for this week. Don't know if he's going to play the second game, though. So if you want to invest your money, go Bernardes, Wynn, or Francis. I think those are decent options. Francis's points are really far down so far, but that's because he missed 2 games due to an injury. So moving up the field, you have Quintero, who is a decent option at midfield. Godoy is hurt. Dawkins hasn't been doing much. Salinas hasn't been playing a lot. So I would avoid midfield unless you want to try and be risky and go for this Quintero guy. He's been playing enough to get you 2 points from playing. He hasn't played a full 90 yet, but his points are pretty decent. Scored a goal last week. So, and then your top 2 options. I think it wouldn't be bad to go with both of them if you really wanted to. Wondolowski and America are just on fire together. Yeah, doing really well. So if you want to go budget-wise, America is a great option. I don't doubt that he'll play both games. Same with Wondolowski, but he's just a lot more expensive. Moving on to Portland. Sorry, I had to burp. It hurt. Oh, I'm so gross. Why do you watch my videos? I'm disgusting. Their defense, again, has been in shambles so far. I don't know why. They have the talent and the guys. They've got Borchers. They've got Powell. They've got Quarase in goal, and they just have not been doing well this year. I love Borchers. I love his beard, but it's just not working out so far. So it could be a weekend where they kind of get back to their defensive rhythm and get some shutouts. But there's better teams, better places that I think you could put your money. Again, it's fantasy. Anything can happen. Nat Borchers might have 2 goals and 2 shutouts and score 30 points or something crazy like that. But it's just not worth the money, not worth the risk. Plus, Portland has a bye next week, in case anybody didn't know. Now, Portland has a bye next week, but they also play twice again the following week. So, strategy for me, I think maybe get 1, maybe 2 guys from Portland on your team, and transfer them out next week, or put one of them on your bench if you can afford to, so they can play twice again the next week. So midfield, obviously, Valeri is the guy to have. Now, I was telling a friend today, Valeri is the guy that can score tons and tons of points for them, but he's also the guy that is likely to get hurt and frustrate the crap out of you because he only ends up playing like 45 minutes in the first game. I don't want him to get hurt. I would feel terrible. That sucks. You never want anybody to get hurt, but it could happen. So a lot of people already have Valeri. He's got 42 points. There's a reason a lot of people have Valeri. So it's $10.5 million. Again, if you're struggling with what to do with Diaz, just get rid of him and pick up Valeri. It's no big deal. Chara is not a bad option. He's more of a defensive role and won't see the points more than likely that Valeri does. He doesn't really score goals very often, and he's a card kind of guy. So I wouldn't recommend him. Nagby, probably not going to play. He's actually not listed as injured on here, which is maybe he will play this weekend. I won't really know. But as far as who would fill in his role, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Espria, maybe Grabavoy get in there. But you probably don't want to invest your money on risky options like that. Then up top, you got Adi. I love Fernando Adi. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be picking him up this week, but I'm really frustrated because I have Plata, David Villa, and Giovinco. And I know whichever one of those guys I drop, they're probably going to get a hat trick this week. But don't worry about that. I'm actually thinking of Gio, which just sounds crazy to me, but Adi has the potential to do a lot this weekend. I believe in him. There was one game where he missed a PK and came out in the 57th minute, which is terrible. But other than that, if you erase that game, he is definitely one of the top forwards out there so far. But right now, goalie situation in FC Dallas is a little frustrating. A lot of people were so hyped on Gonzalez. Tons of people out there were saying, if you don't have Gonzalez to start the season, you're doing it wrong. And he hasn't played in how many games now? 3. Sykes got his spot when Gonzalez went on national team duty, and he's kept it so far. I'm not really sure what's going on there. I would actually be kind of nervous to start either of them because I just have a feeling Sykes might play one, Gonzalez might play the other. I think if you go Malia, you're safe that he's going to play both games. So, but if you already have one of those guys, just keep it. Just keep it. Don't waste your change or your transfers on your goalie situation. Defensively, Hedges, strong. Figueroa, strong. Zimmerman, strong. Teva Harris has not really showed up too much yet. I don't know if he must have missed a few. Oh, he actually missed a ton of games. So who's filling in for him? I guess it was Lloyd. Anyway, so Lloyd, probably don't want him on your team. He only got to play 2 games because of the international call-ups for Zimmerman. So Zimmerman is the budget guy. Hedges is the more expensive, but I think he's got a goal in him. I'm just waiting for it to happen. Midfield, Diaz has 42 points right now. That's insane. He's already missed 2 games. He could have so much more. He could easily be the top scoring player in the league right now, but he's not because we don't know what's going on. I read somewhere that it was a hamstring injury. Don't know how valid that is. It says undisclosed, but we just don't know if he's going to get to play both games. 0 game, we just don't know. I'm probably going to risk it and take it. Keep him on my team because if he does play, he will be dangerous. Castillo, I also have him on my team. He can be dangerous or he can do nothing. He's kind of boom or bust. I like Barrios. From what I've seen of him so far this year, he's pretty awesome. Little guy, gets up the field. He had that one game where he had 2 goals. And then Hollingshead is actually playing more of a defensive role. So he doesn't get up the field quite as often, but he also doesn't lose points if they get scored on 4-0 like they did against Houston. I think it was more than 4-0. But Gruezo, I would avoid him. I'm not a huge fan. Acosta, maybe. There's just a lot of people here playing. Acosta's not playing consistently. But again, this is a short week where guys might have to be cycled through. I think you're going to see some changes and some surprises and some things that frustrate you. But that's just the way soccer is. And then Urruti, good option. I wouldn't actually have a problem picking him as your captain this week. He's been doing really well, and Akindele has actually been showing up in the starting lineup as well. He's not doing too bad. I think Aruni will start over him if Diaz comes back. But, yeah, that's FC Dallas. So now we can talk about captains. So Colorado. Colorado captains, you want to probably go with offensive-minded guys. I don't think you want to go with, like, Schoberg or Burling or Birch. You want to go with, like, Gashi, Powers, or Papa probably. Maybe even Solignac. But you probably don't want, unless you're trying to take risks and gain your overall ranking, make it higher, and pick guys that other people aren't going to pick, I would avoid. I think there's other better options. Obviously, FC Dallas has a lot. Diaz, if he plays twice, but we're just not going to know. Hopefully they release something in the next day or two that allows us to know whether he's going to play or not. But Castillo's not a bad option, I don't think. Or Rudy's not a bad option. Don't pick Hedges or Zimmerman. New York, I think the only options you can really go with are Kleshton, McCarty, or if you're feeling lucky, Bradley Wright Phillips. And we know Bradley Wright Phillips has goals in his foot. They just have not come out of it yet. I think once they do, he'll get rolling and get on a score streak. But it's a risky option, but I think it could be a good one. You could end up with 40 points out of him if you make him your captain. Portland, I think there's only really two good options here. I think you can go with Fernando Adi or Diego Valeri. Really strong attacking options. San Jose, I would go probably Amarikwa or Wando. Again, you want to go with the guys that are up front close to the goal. Wando has been doing fantastically. And Amarikwa's doing pretty good too. And then Sporting Kansas City, I would say Dwyer, Failhopper, or Zusi. I've heard a lot of weird rumors about them cycling defenders. I don't know why they would really have to do that. But I think those are good options. I think defenders, it's unpredictable to make a defender your captain because and this is for all of the teams, not just the good ones or the bad ones, but if for some reason Sporting Kansas were to get goals scored on them each week, or each game rather, they're losing out on 8 points, which would be 16. Now, if they get double shutouts, it's crazy, but you just can't count on that in soccer. You never know when the worst team in the league is going to creep up on their one opportunity in the game and score a goal. So I think you're safer with attacking-minded guys. There's a lot more of a ceiling there. So that is your fantasy advice for the week. Take it as you will. I hope it helps you. I know that they've been having a lot of trouble logging into the website the beginning of this week, and it's been frustrating, and I was actually worried I wasn't going to be able to do my video at all this week because I didn't have all the information that I needed. But I luckily eventually got in after trying time after time after time. So hopefully they get everything working. Hopefully they get it working in time for you to be able to make your changes and set your lineup. Otherwise, I'm so sorry. Again, not a bad idea to make an extra trade or two if you really want to. It could be worth it. So good luck. Hope y'all do well. Hope you watch a lot of soccer this week. It's exciting to have it on Wednesday again. And then the weekend. So look forward to it. Good luck, everybody. And I'll see you in the next video. Hey, you guys. What's happening? We're here to talk about MLS Fantasy Court. Oh. Yeah, lick me after that? What are you eating out to? Puppy, you're gross.